next? Speaking of Nat Green Base, Nat Green Base is next. That's not you, Jim. They're going to do God Created a Submariner.
Okay, first of all, for those of you who have not seen, read, or saw this anywhere else, this is not meant to be sacrilegious.
They sure are messing up my
In the
camera.
beginning was the Word. Was God, and all else was darkness, and the void and without form. So God created the heavens and the earth. He created the sun and the moon and the stars so that their lights might pierce the darkness. And the earth, God divided between the land and the sea, and these He filled with many assorted creatures. And from the slime in land called Lipstone, God made dark, salty creatures that inhabited the seashore. He called them marine. He dressed them accordingly in bright colors so that their betters may more easily see them in their holes and burrows, that they be scorned out of the ground. And God said, whilst at their appointed labors, they will devour worms, maggots, sea and cave rations, and all creatures that creep and crawl. The mighty creatures of the air He called Airedales. And these He clothed in uniforms that were ruffled, perfumed, and pretty. And He gave them great floating cities with flat roofs in which to live, where they gathered and formed huge multitudes. They carried out heathen rites and ceremonies by days and by night upon the roof amidst thunderous noise. They were given God's blue sky, and their existence was on the backs of others. And the surface creatures of the sea, God called skimmers, who supported the Airedales. And with a twinkle in His eye and a sense of humor only He could have, He gave them all tea dumps, polluted with such sticky water to drink, and gave them gray targets to go to sea in. He gave them many splendid uniforms to wear, and He gave them all the world's exotic and wonderful places to visit. He gave them pen and paper so that they could write home every week, and He gave them rope yarn Sunday at sea and a laundry so that they could clean and polish their splendid uniforms. When you are God, it is very easy to get carried away with your great and wondrous benevolence. And on the seventh day, as you know, God rested from His labors. And on the eighth day at 0755, just before colors, God looked down upon the earth, and He was not a happy man. God knew that He had not quite achieved perfection. So He thought about His labors, and in His infinite wisdom, He created a divine creature, His masterpiece. And this He called a submariner, a child of heaven. And these submariners whom God created in His own image, and to whom He gave His most cherished gift, great intelligence, were to be of the deep. And to them He gave more of His greatest gifts. He gave them black steel messengers of death, called smoke boats, class in which to roam the depths of his oceans. And he gave them his arrows and slingshots, the Mark 14 torpedo of burnished brass and black, and a Mark 37 of Greene to wage war against Satan and all his evil. He heaped great knowledge and understanding above them in order that they may more easily win their greatest challenge to pass the qualification test and to be skilled in the great works God had charged them with. The finest of these men God called diesel boat submariners. While they made all happen around them, understanding of other men. He gave his submariners hotels in which to live when they were exhausted and weary from doing God's will. He gave them fortitude to consume vast quantities of beer and booze to sustain them in the arduous task performed in his name. He gave them great food, submarine pay, and occasionally substance so that they might entertain the ladies of the Starlight, White Hat, and Horse and Cat on Saturday night to impress the heck out of the creatures he called skimmers and jarheads. And on the end of the 8th day, God again looked down upon the earth and saw that it was good in his realm. But God was not happy because in the course of his mighty labors, he had forgot one thing. He did not keep a pair of dolphins for himself. But then he thought about it, considered it, and finally he counseled himself in certain knowledge that not just anybody can be a submariner.
And as the infamous Admiral Rickover said, life is simple. You're either qualified or you're not.